Good evening, everyone. How are you? I'm so happy to see you. I hope this recording comes out really clearly. I'm coming to you live from Austin, Texas. And I'm actually, you can see the cardboard box behind me. I'm helping my daughter and her roommate set up their first apartment together. Really excited. We've had beautiful weather. It was a long trip driving down, but very fruitful. We stopped in St. Louis, anyone who's from St. Louis. We stopped in Oklahoma City, which was also really terrific place. Had some really good meals, stayed in some lovely hotels, and also in Columbus, Ohio. So kind of going backwards. So if you're in any of those places in the United States, I'm giving you a little bit of a shout out. If you're outside of the US, welcome. I know it's nighttime for you. It's 8 a.m. for me here. Usually I'm broadcasting at about 9 a.m. And it's just, I'm looking out and it's just a beautiful sunny day. Trying to stay out of direct sunlight because I don't want to ruin the entire effect of the video, but we've got some really good information. For those of you who are brand new, please let me know in the chat. The other thing I just wanted to mention is today is a BOGO day. BOGOs just about everywhere. We have BOGOs in the Philippines. We have BOGOs in the US. We have BOGOs in Europe. I know some of you are thinking there's no BOGO where I am, but there will be a BOGO where you are soon. In the meantime, please take advantage of the US BOGOs. We're going to be talking about those in a minute. Megan is asking me, what oils do I bring with me when I travel? That's a really good question. So for the most part, I bring the basic 10. I take out a couple because I'm not sure that I'm going to use them, and I would probably substitute. I only bring about 10 oils with me when I travel. One of the things that I do bring with me that I love is grapefruit, and because I take grapefruit under the tongue every morning, and I also bring wild orange. So that's not in the basic 10, and I actually probably bring wild orange instead of the lemon, which is in the basic 10. But I also bring Serenity with me in case I'm having any difficulty sleeping. But something that I learned several years ago, shout out to Elizabeth Ho, who saved me once when I was just desperate, is now I actually bring many of the gel caps with me because they are super convenient. So I often travel with almost all the gel caps. I travel with COPAIBA, Tri-Ease, On Guard, trying to think, Serenity, and Digestion. So 5 of the capsules, the gel caps I travel with, find them to be very convenient. And also if I'm with anybody and they're not feeling well, it's easy to give them a gel cap. I actually brought those 5 with me. I'm going to leave those packs here with my daughter because we didn't have the address yet. She wasn't officially a resident, but soon we'll get her LRP shipped here on a regular basis. Okay, so I want to share my screen with you. I want to talk about BOGOs. Who's excited about BOGOs? Let me know. Even if they're not in your country, are you excited about BOGOs? I have to say, it's like Christmas in July. I really enjoy them. Yay, BOGO. Thank you, Suan B. I think BOGOs are amazing. The BOGO box looks really cute. I think the top, the 6 oils that you can see look really good. What the mystery oils are, I do not know. So Swanby says it's always crazy in Malaysia. And Benjamin, hey Ben, how are you? So good to see that you're on this morning. I know you're on almost every week. I have to say, I really missed everybody last week. It just seemed like, wait, aren't I supposed to be doing something? I'm supposed to be somewhere and I'm not where I'm supposed to be. So let me share my screen so you can get a sense of what I'm thinking about. William is telling me it's definitely a must buy, and I would tend to agree with that. You're getting such a range of products and you get them for such a great price. How could it not be a good deal? If you are a regular doTERRA user, then I don't see the downside, but I know some people think, well, maybe not now. They have definitely, doTERRA has definitely gone to a model where we get BOGOs, but we don't necessarily get them as frequently as we're getting them, and probably that's a good thing. So for those of you who don't know, today's presentation is about CBD versus COPAIBA. And if you have never heard the term CBD, or you're thinking, what the heck is Elena talking about? I will explain everything. I promise. I've got a couple of notes on the side, which is why I'm kind of glancing back and forth. I can't use 2 screens today because I'm traveling and also have a regular lighting, but I have to see with this beautiful light up on not a super high floor, but I'm on a floor high enough that I'm kind of looking out and the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. And this is an east window. So the sun is just coming up and I'm getting some nice bright light. Okay, so today we're talking about COPAIBA CBD versus COPAIBA. But before I go there, I am going to talk about BOGOs first. Okay, so first and foremost, whoops, the BOGO Box is back. So why is this important? BOGO Box basically means that you are going to get a single box with all of the BOGOs in it. So what happens usually is in traditional BOGOs, you buy literally one single essential oil and then you get one single essential oil as your buy one, get one, right? But what dōTERRA has been doing over the last, I want to say year at least, maybe a year and a half, is that we've been offering an entire box of everything that will be offered during the week. What's the benefit of that? You actually get a financial benefit, but you also save on shipping. So for me, I'm getting the essential oils in the US. Maybe my shipping is not so high because it's a flat rate shipping. But if you're outside of the US and you're getting these NFRs to ship them every day, everybody has to kind of coordinate to ship them and form BOGO groups, and BOGO teams can be really fun. And I frequently still put together BOGO teams. What's a BOGO team? It means that you are offering to purchase certain BOGO days with other people to save on the shipping. So I would buy Monday, and Suanne B would buy Tuesday, Ben would buy Wednesday, Megan would buy Thursday, William would buy Friday, and then we would get together at the end of the week. BOGO teams also depend on the fact that you live near each other. So obviously I could not be on a BOGO team with anybody outside of the US, even outside of my neighborhood, really, because I'm not going to travel to Florida or Texas or any other far place to kind of exchange the oils. I guess I could mail them, but then that defeats the idea of the free shipping. Anyway, the concept basically is you get together in teams, and then at the end you all kind of swap and maybe have a coffee or a light lunch. It really is a lot of fun. But the BOGO Box allows you to kind of skip all of that, which is really fun. So this year's BOGO Box, or this season's BOGO Box, July 2021, includes a deep blue, a tea tree, an immortelle, a purify, an aroma touch, and an adaptive roll-on. So these are really good products. I have to say I'm probably short on all of them, so this is a great BOGO Box for me. I can tell you a little bit more about the BOGO Box. It is one box and you get every BOGO. So what does that mean? You're going to get these 6 oils plus 6 additional oils. But as of this moment, the 6 additional oils have not been revealed. We're hoping they're going to be revealed in the next couple of hours. It is about 7 a.m. Mountain Time. We will not start revealing the BOGOs until after business hours in Utah. So the BOGO Box went on sale at midnight last night, midnight Mountain Time. So it's currently on sale. But the individual BOGOs and the BOGO that's for today, for Monday, is not yet revealed. So I can't tell you what the other 6 oils are. I was hoping that I would be on here and they would be revealed and that I'd have some great information. I may have to do that later on in a reel or an Instagram or something else. So for right now, these are the 6 oils and then 6 other mystery oils. Here's the other great thing. You can actually enroll a new person with the BOGO Box and they will get $50 dōTERRA, which is a really fun thing. That means they have $50 extra to spend on things that they will not receive in the box. Things like fractionated coconut oil, or maybe On Guard, or some of the other basics that they really want to make sure that they have in their cart, especially if they're joining. But these oils, the oils that are in this BOGO Box, are really very, very useful. One of the oils that's in the box, and it's an exclusive to the box, is a tea tree. giving you 2 diffuser blends here. You can use your tea tree oil with eucalyptus and rosemary to discover your zen, or you can find your foundation and you can use it tea tree, lavender, eucalyptus, and bergamot. And I like either one of those blends. I think the tea tree, eucalyptus, and rosemary going to smell very clean, and then the lavender, eucalyptus, and bergamot just going to have a lot of depth to it, because you've got your flower oils in there. You've got your citrus oils. I think it's a blend that you're really going to like. Let me know. Yes, and just to let you know, thank you. My dear friend Wenwei is letting me know that the doTERRA dollars are not for Singapore or Malaysia. So you will not be receiving those in Singapore or Malaysia. Leaders, I would strongly suggest that if someone is willing to enroll with the BOGO Box, you offer them some sort of a freebie, whatever that freebie may be. Maybe it's a small diffuser, maybe it's another essential oil, but really kind of sweeten the deal. If they're willing to enroll with the BOGO Box, it is 170 PV. So this is kind of a funny way of thinking about the 6 oils. I kind of like this. So tea tree, you're going to put on anything that's a little gross, like you can put it on something that's a nasty cut or a burn, just kind of clean it up there, right? Adaptive makes you think of happy stuff. Purify is for anything stinky. I'm thinking of stinky gym shoes, or maybe a dog, or something that just doesn't smell the right way. Aroma touch, you're going to put anything having to do with your muscles. Immortelle, put it on old stuff to make it look new. Make it look like young stuff, like your face, for example. And then last but not least, your deep blue is for achy stuff, anything that's feeling achy or uncomfortable. And you actually save $148 by buying the BOGO Box. So this is a really big deal, for 148 US, not Sing dollars. That's a really big deal, plus the rewards. So try it out. If you're interested in the BOGO, get on today. I don't know if they'll sell out today, but I imagine they will. This is kind of a big deal. There's been so much chat in all of the US chat groups. I can't imagine that this is not just going to go wild. So just to let you know, this is a big, big deal. Okay, here we go. Let's now talk about COPAIBA. So I'm really happy that everybody's here with me today. Again, I'm just going to mention, if you are brand new, please let me know. I've always want to hear from our new people. doTERRA essential oils have drastically changed my life, and I'm excited to have this opportunity to share the benefits with you. I don't have that there. Here we go. Let me see if I can sit a little higher up. There we go. That's better. Yeah, you can still see me. Okay, terrific. Let's talk a little bit about why I started using COPAIBA. When it first came out, I started thinking about all the ways, and I heard about it at a convention, that it could help with inflammation and with other sorts of issues. And I loved the idea of using COPAIBA, and so I'm still using it to this day. Today's goal really is to discuss the differences between CBD and doTERRA's COPAIBA essential oil. And we're going to start with the CBD oil, because some of you may not have heard of it before. You may have heard of it in the news, and you may be thinking, I'm not sure what that is. What is Elena talking about? I don't want you to be confused. When I finished, I want you to be thinking, I really understand this, and I can explain it to someone else. And if you're feeling nervous at the end, then you can basically get on, you can pull up this video. So for anybody who's watching me on YouTube, absolutely feel free to share this video. We'd love to, we'd also hear your comments down below, and click the button and subscribe and ring the bell to get notifications. Okay, so today's goal, we're going to talk about the comparison. So let's first talk about CBD. The term CBD is actually short for cannabidiol, which is a naturally occurring chemical compound from the cannabis plant. And for those of you who haven't heard the word cannabis, it's really the marijuana plant. If you haven't heard of marijuana, then I'm not sure if I can help you. But I think all of us have heard of that plant. It's been in the news. Hemp has been as a derivative of that plant as well. We're talking specifically CBD, cannabidiol, that is a derivative of the cannabis plant. Unlike its cousin, tetrahydrocannabinol, THC. CBD is not psychoactive and is often taken to impart a feeling of relaxation and calm. But we're going to find out in a little while why this is important and why purity is a question here. It's one of the biggest issues. So cannabinoids are produced naturally in our bodies and are called endocannabinoids. The cannabinoids that come from plants, such as CBD, are called phytocannabinoids. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be saying this a lot. I got to get it right. So endocannabinoids from us, phytocannabinoids from plants, right? And anything that triggers your endocannabinoid system, your ECS, is considered a cannabinoid. So whether you're taking it from the outside or you have it from the inside, it's all reacting on the same system. The ECS, let's talk first about, before we talk about the benefits of cannabinoids, let's understand how they work in the body. For this, we need to turn to the endocannabinoid system, the ECS, and the ECS plays a vital role in regulating many functions within the body, including your immune system function and sleep, your appetite, digestion, pain, your pain receptors, hormones, reproductive function, and memory. So it seems like this is a regulator of many different things. Works hand in hand with your hormones, which obviously regulate all the systems in your body. And the endocannabinoids made by the body activate your cannabinoid receptors, CB1 and CB2. So this is important because that we want to make this clear when we talk about the difference between CBD and COPAIBA, why this is super important. CB1 is primarily associated with pleasure and reward pathways, while CB2 receptors are found mainly in the immune system, are not as widely distributed throughout the body. So CBD and ECS receptors, CBD directly interacts with CB1 and CB2, but there's some evidence suggests that this interaction is weak and that it's inconsequential. Despite the weak interaction, CBD does still affect your endocannabinoid system indirectly by a different mechanism. Look, I'm not going to go into every detail of the mechanisms. It's beyond really the scope of today's presentation. However, it's important to understand that the distinction of directly impacting the ECS receptors versus indirectly creating a similar effect. So that's what we want to talk about, that this is CBD works indirectly. We're going to later find out that COPAIBA works directly, which is an important characteristic of COPAIBA. So direct receptor activity is one of the most significant distinctions between CBD oil and COPAIBA essential oil. Essential oils have complete plant chemistry. And because of this, essential oils have direct receptor activity. It means that the interaction between COPAIBA and cannabinoid receptors is not dependent on any other mechanisms. So COPAIBA can work directly on the cannabinoid receptors. And this is important. The direct action triggers a rapid and immediate response, unlike CBD, which can also often have a delayed response. So what is COPAIBA? Not that we haven't heard of it before, not that we haven't used it in the past. We know it's very effective. COPAIBA comes from a fragrant tropical tree native to South America. Like all dōTERRA essential oils, COPAIBA goes through a stringent processing process while it is processed to produce a CPDG oil. So that's certified, pure, tested grade, right? We've recently changed the nomenclature, and COPAIBA is this, like I said, a towering tree, grows in tropical rainforests, and for hundreds of years, traditional healers in northern Brazil have used COPAIBA trees for their health benefits. It is a resin, a liquid resin, very much like frankincense. So the tree is tapped. I'm trying to think how I would describe that. Sort of like a small tube is inserted in the tree, and then the oil would just basically pour out from the tree, and then we, dōTERRA, would refine that to produce the essential oil. Is CBD safe and effective? So now we're jumping back and forth a little bit, but let's first talk about safety, right? We need to talk about some of the benefits. Before we talk about the benefits, let's talk about other things that we want to consider. So it's really easy. Everybody's talking about CBD. You can find it in everything. People are putting it into gummy bears and popcorn and all kinds of crazy things. But the FDA, which is the Food and Drug Administration from the United States, says that some companies are marketing products containing cannabis and cannabis-derived compounds in ways that violate the Food and Drug Act and may put health and safety of consumers at risk. So what basically does this mean? It means that some of the products that you may be purchasing that have CBD in it, that say they are completely pure and don't contain any THC in them, may actually contain it. Now, the interesting thing is you want to make sure if you're going to fall into certain groups that you're not taking CBD. Number one would be athletes. Now, this seems counterintuitive. You would say athletes might want to actually take this for the relaxation benefits or for the healing properties. Yes and no. Many professional athletes actually are tested on a regular basis for, they're drug tested, which means that if drugs are found in their bloodstream, they would wind up with very severe consequences. And sometimes CBD can show up in the bloodstream as a mind-altering or drug substance. So that's really important if you are a professional athlete or if you're a student and you're going to be drug tested on a regular basis. The other group that also has to be concerned are elderly people. Why is this? There is at times some drug interaction between CBD and pharmacological or even over-the-counter drugs. They can amplify each other, they can counteract each other. If you're thinking of taking CBD, you want to be really careful if you're an elderly person or if you're taking other medications. You can have drug interactions, and that's really serious. The last group are children. You want to make sure that if your child is exposed to CBD, that they are really, you're monitoring the effects on them, because the exposure to CBD can be relaxing, but it can also be mind altering in the sense that the child becomes almost lethargic from having been exposed to too much CBD. So there's a lot of safety issues with CBD, and we want to make sure, certainly with purity, there is no standard for CBD. So you kind of get what you get. So some things might be doused with so much other things and stronger chemicals that you don't want to have in your system. And the other, the other risk that you could take is that there's literally no CBD in there at all. And this is something that is also coming to light, that people are saying, oh yes, there's CBD in my product, but when they're actually tested, there's almost nothing in there. So very, very interesting. We want to make sure that we're getting something that we hope to get. Now, is it legal? Now, marijuana is not legal. It is legal in only certain states of the United States. Colorado is one of them, has passed legislation to make it legal in their state, and a few other selected states are now passing legislation so that you can purchase certain types of marijuana products in things like pharmacies, so that it's not being sold on streets. But the legality of CBD is complex. The 2018 Act did not remove the FDA's authority to regulate products containing cannabis or cannabis-derived compounds. And so they're still kind of falling in that gray area of whether or not they are legal. If you live in a country outside of the United States, my guess is that CBD may not be legal and may not be sold anywhere except perhaps in a pharmacy under the aegis of a professional pharmacist. So it's not something, but it is a big deal here in the United States and being sold all over. So legally, it's kind of in that gray area. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits. Many people swear by this product. It has helped with some health conditions, things like back discomfort, osteoarthritis. Even some people are using it for cancer. They're saying that it has helped them. And I don't know how, I don't know the pathways, but I do know that people are taking this. You can read lots of articles about CBD in the general press. However, the only approved health use of CBD is in a particular seizure drug called Epidiolex. And despite having many other benefits, it has never been approved for anything else. So right now, studies are underway, and they're, I don't know, I want to say the jury's kind of out at this point, but it is a product that is very, very big. Okay, let's talk now about purity, because for all of my doTERRA friends, I know purity is a big issue. Where you purchase your CBD, what company you're getting from is a big deal. When it comes to verifying product purity, third-party testing is best. However, it's not required by any agency in the United States, so you really don't know what you're getting. And there's been a lot of confusion regarding dosing, how much to take, no specific guidelines. I have to tell you, this is just not the product for me. If you have been using it and you with great effect, that's great. I'm gonna offer you maybe an alternative, and I think you're gonna like it. At least I want you to kind of hear the benefits of COPAIBA and why it's important. We've kind of gone deeply down the CBD road, but I think it's important for us to see the other side. Now let's talk about COPAIBA. So actually, this is a great photograph, that the tapping of the COPAIBA tree. You can see that big drill that's being wound into the tree. Now that you have a better understanding of CBD, let's take a look at our other option, COPAIBA. I like the idea that it is a pure and natural single process, single element that's derived from trees and has been used for thousands of years. Plants, we all know what essential oils are, but I'm just going to go through it real quickly. We know that they're highly concentrated compounds known to be super effective for relieving many different sorts of ailments or symptoms that we may have. They are free from harsh chemicals. They protect us from the environment. And even when they're used, just plants are using them, they're protecting the plants from insects and are used in every part of plant pollination. Essential oil use is not a fad. As you know, we've been using essential oils for thousands of years. I use them for just about everything. I'm sure you do too, but if you're watching this on YouTube, you may not have used essential oils yet. And this is maybe your wake-up call to say, this is the time for me to start using them. Essential oils are usually steam distilled, which means that the plant material is put into a giant pot, if you will, but the pot could be as big as this room. And the steam would pass through the plant material, and then the oil or the steam would be suctioned off, and the oil would float to the top and the water would be on the bottom. The water on the bottom is actually a hydrosol, and the oil on the top is your essential oil. That's what doTERRA sells. When it comes to purity, we know that doTERRA is super concerned about their purity. We do third-party testing and we do in-house testing. We're always looking for any ways that essential oils or plant material could have been contaminated. Those would be immediately rejected by doTERRA. Other companies are not so fortunate to have the resources and the ability to really look at plant processes and look at materials the way we are. The way we work together with our growers and our farmers is also completely unique, which makes our COPAIBA oil really a special product. You know about certified pure. It's actually not therapeutic grade anymore. It's certified pure tested grade. And you can see that this is a someone working in a laboratory and actually doing some testing. I'm going to skip over that slide. Okay, so now let's talk about COPAIBA. I'm carrying, actually this time around, I'm carrying the gel caps with me. This is the way I'm taking them during my trip. CBD, when we talk about COPAIBA essential oil, it works directly on the cannabinoid receptors. And it also goes through a stringent process of testing, which we don't have from CBD. So I work with both products interchangeably, the gel caps as shown here, and the essential oil. Why do I like it? Because COPAIBA has virtually no scent, and really when applied to the skin, I don't feel really anything. It doesn't tingle, it's not cool. It's just a very, very mild essential oil. One of the things that I do use essential oil for, I'm going to call it a booster or a driver. So very frequently when I'm using any sort of a topical mix, as you can imagine, moving my daughter into her apartment, we've been lifting boxes and furniture and moving things around and getting in and out of the car and packing things. And you can imagine, as you can see, I have a bit of a scratch on my arm. Yeah, you can see that. And I have another yay over here and all kinds of things. I have bruises on my legs. Why? Because I'm moving in ways that I don't usually do. What am I doing? I'm applying my deep blue, but then I'm adding COPAIBA into that mix because it acts as a driver or as an amplifier for the other product. When I'm taking my Serenity capsule at night, I'm taking my Serenity capsule and my COPAIBA capsule because the COPAIBA capsule, again, is amplifying the Serenity capsule. So I find that I often use COPAIBA with other things if I'm diffusing. So for example, if I was diffusing Easy Air or any of the other products, maybe a eucalyptus, and I wanted to get an added benefit, I would using the COPAIBA with that other product to amplify the first product. So for me, COPAIBA acts as an amplifier, and because it has a very, very mild scent and a very, very mild taste, so if you were to take it underneath the tongue, honestly, it's even more mild than frankincense, and for me, that's a pretty mild product. So what I want to hear now is a little bit from you. Tell me why you use, if you've used COPAIBA before, if you have, let me know if you've used it and what's your favorite way to use it. Okay, so Ida jumped in right away and she says, my COPAIBA soft gels are always in my bag for me to ingest when I'm having my discomfort in my back. So that's a really important one. I love the soft gels. Like I said, I take them just about everywhere. And I also bring the essential oil with me everywhere. So if I'm using one oil, I add in the COPAIBA oil for an additional benefit. Okay, you can keep posting for me. We've got lots of information on COPAIBA. There's some wonderful resources. I may try to add them into the chat so that you can see them a little bit later. And last but not least, I wanted to know if you're using your COPAIBA essential oil, would you use it with any of the oils in the BOGO box? So the answer for me would be yes. If I look at the oils in the BOGO box, I would probably use them with the, I would definitely use it with the deep blue. I would most certainly use it with the tea tree. You could add it in when you're using your Immortelle. So I feel like it's an oil that it like pairs with everything. It just makes everything a little bit better. So if you're not using your COPAIBA, Ida says she also uses the COPAIBA essential oil in addition to the gel caps. If you use the gel caps and the oil, let me know in the chat. I'd love to hear. And last but not least, do I have another? I think I have maybe one more slide. Whoops. We're all, sorry everyone. Thanks. Oh, here we go. I love the COPAIBA. I think am I going backwards? Why I love COPAIBA. Well, I talked a lot about why I love COPAIBA. I use it as a driver and as an amplifier. That's really my best ways to use COPAIBA. So I hope this gives you a little bit of a background. I've done something similar to this in the past when COPAIBA was first released, talking about the benefits of COPAIBA, the questions that we may have about CBD, and why when we look at the two products side by side, I have to choose COPAIBA, I have to say. I feel like between the testing, the purity, and the direct action on the CBD receptors, on the CBD receptors for me is a really big, I'm sorry, the ECS receptors is a really big deal. When we're talking CBD, we're talking about indirect action and maybe a lot of questions about purity and where it's coming from and what's the source and the processing, and not a lot of regulation. So for me, hands down, COPAIBA is the answer, and I hope you feel the same way. Like I said, there's a lot more links for us. I'll be posting some of those in the chat. Thank you everyone for having been here. This has been kind of an interesting presentation. I think we haven't done something like this in a while, but I think it's time that we get this out and talking to people about it. Okay, Betty says, Lee Ju says they dropped COPAIBA under their tongue, and Betty says COPAIBA soft gels with Yarrow Palm and DDR Prime at night. Good night's sleep. Oh, that's a good mix. Interesting. And then she says she also uses COPAIBA oil with Deep Blue Rub. Yep, on aches before sleep and every morning. Yeah, I would agree. I feel like COPAIBA just amplifies that so much. Ida says, Ida's saying to Lillian, COPAIBA can be used for hair. Ida, let us know how you're using it for hair. Are you using it for purifying the scalp or for stimulating hair growth? I'd love to hear how you're using it. Ivy says, my father-in-law is 95. We dropped frankincense and COPAIBA under his tongue. Cognitively, he has improved tremendously. That's a terrific testimonial. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ivy. So today we are actually, let me see my prizes. We're gonna actually give away a prize, but I'm gonna stop the share for now. I wanna hear from all of you in the chat. And whoops. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. Okay, I'm back. We're gonna say farewell to everybody who is on YouTube, and I'm gonna stay on with anybody who is live. Thank you so much for having been here. If you have any questions, you're gonna add them into the chat. So I'm gonna be answering questions about COPAIBA or the BOGO Box or what I'm using while I'm traveling. But for right now, I'm saying farewell to everyone who is on the live. And I'm sorry, say farewell to everybody who's on YouTube, and we'll see you back here next week with another really interesting presentation. Have a wonderful week, everyone. See you real soon. Bye-bye now.